Hello there. Nigel Farage is probably the only man who can now prevent a UK civil war, but he could also be the man to cause one. Nigel Farage has played a stormer, and right now he and his Reform UK is the only political game in town. But he and his team now have to perform. The time for action is here, but action that is based on the majority, not on the minority interests of the woke establishment. Now, Nigel has his flaws, but in my view he and his party are, at this moment in time, the last chance saloon for the UK. And the UK electorate is waking up and realising the old legacy parties are now just minority interest parties. They are ideologically driven fringe parties that have moved away from majority consensus politics into treating the UK populace as a mere cash cow for them to prove their woke credentials. We are here because those old parties try to strut the international stage, showing how inclusive, progressive, tolerant, and annoyingly woke they are on our behalf, at the vast expense of the ordinary Brit. And far from white privilege, the UK is awash with minority privilege. And the UK voter/taxpayer has had enough, and has followed the democratic route to show their discontent with the old parties and to seize the chance of real change. But if Reform UK ends up following in the footsteps of uniparty establishment parties, then I shudder to think what would then follow. The people are already at the end of their tether. A failure by Reform UK to live up to the hype would crash the voters' trust in democracy, leading to possibly hideous repercussions. If that happened, Nigel Farage would overtake Keir Starmer as the most hated politician in the UK, and I'll say no more on that. Now, on the bright side, just to show you the sheer enormity of the Reform UK performance, take a look at this. This graph shows the percentage change in council seat wins since the last local elections in these areas in 2021. And as you can see, Reform UK has increased its seat numbers by 2,334%. Now that's huge. Keir Starmer has therefore kept one of his promises. He promised change, and he's driven change in the UK. Change from Labour to Reform UK, all in 10 months. And the Greens have more than doubled their seat numbers. The Lib Dems have 2/3 more seats than the last time, and the other parties and independents have only half the number of seats they held last time. And the Tories dropped their seat numbers by 2/3. But get this, despite having many fewer seats to lose, Labour also lost 2/3 of their seats. Something that leads me to believe that Labour are in as big a pit across the country as the Tories are. Further, the Tories lost control of all of the 15 out of the 23 councils that they controlled. All 15 of them. Get your head around that one. They no longer control any of those councils. And Reform won 10 councils, basically from a standing start, as well as a new MP and 2 new mayors. And Labour lost control of the only council it had, Doncaster, and they lost it to Reform UK. The only other party to gain was the Lib Dems that now control 3 councils. And with Keir Starmer now thinking that the answer to this is to determinedly go down the same path, harder and faster, then I think the self-destruction of Labour is assured. So following the Tories into the dustbin of history, we hope. But in his quest to get here, Nigel Farage has done his best to court the left. And I worry if that will lead to some unreformed UK-like policies surfacing in their manifesto at the next general election. Or the acceptance may be that illegals, or the unwelcome, are here to stay. And isn't it funny that the wet Tory party could end up with someone leading it who is more right-wing than Farage, Robert Jenrick, while Reform UK as a party seems more right-wing at the moment than its leader. But at least Nigel said this following the local election victory in Durham.
And Starmer didn't listen. No, he said in the House of Commons, he said that Nigel Farage will have the Conservative Party for breakfast. He said it at Prime Minister's questions. But he missed a bit, which was we were going to have the Labour Party for lunch, and that's what we've done today. And I would advise anybody who's working for Durham County Council on climate change initiatives or diversity, equity and inclusion or anything, or thinks they can go on working from home, I think you all better really be seeking alternative careers very, very quickly.
Now, the lefties will be sobbing right now and will probably start demanding that the Labour government copies the Germans, who are right now trying to get the AfD, the Alternative for Germany, banned from politics. Now, next year we have the Senedd elections in Wales, and at this rate expect Wales to turn turquoise, and they also have local elections in 2027 too. The Plaid leader Liz Saville-Roberts has already warned that this is a distinct possibility. Scotland also has parliamentary elections next year. Reform UK has already polled at 17% of the vote in Scotland earlier this year and has won significant shares of votes in certain more Leave areas of Scotland. So who knows? Everything's to play for, but Nigel must not follow the Uniparty. That way lies destruction for all of us. Now for something a little more personal for me. Unusual, I know. You will, I assume, have seen what's been going on with Paul Thorpe, Richard Inman and Danny. I know all three of them. Here we are in a London steakhouse the night before the last London rally, enjoying a steak, some beer and each other's company. Now those three have put a hell of a lot of time, money and, more importantly, personal capital into the movement than most have. And it can easily overwhelm you, unless you put plenty of time aside for yourself and your family. And sometimes there comes a time to step back a bit. But I've been holding off saying anything about them because the decisions they're making are down to them. And although I fervently wish they'd stay where they have been, that is right at the core of the fight to save the UK, I can fully understand why they would wish to step back a bit at the moment. But it is not my place to put pressure on them to do so. That is for them. But what gets my ire going is when anonymous armchair cabbages take sly potshots at them. Armchair cabbages who have absolutely no idea what they've been through. Before doing what you're doing, strip your anonymity away and put your head fully above the parapet, just like they did for us. Paul, Richard and Danny have my full support in whatever decisions they make on this issue, because those decisions are theirs to make. Now something strange has happened to my channel co-pilot Richard, and this is also highly personal for him. It's about when he met a young chap called Reese. I'll let him explain. Richard.
So today's video was going to be a live stream. But something happened to me today. Now, Jeff and I get recognised quite a bit. People come on to us, and it's mostly very positive what we receive, and thank you all for that. And it means a lot. But today something different happened, because Usually the demographic that approaches us is sort of more kin to our age, old fogies like us. And today something happened, and that was I got approached by a young man. A young man I can only describe as very polite, very professional in his job, very much with the appearance of somebody who's been raised well. That's what I will say. A fine young man, and his name is Reese, okay? Now, it really touched me today that somebody like Reese and of his generation came up to me, because you think, my goodness, it's not just the oldies, us oldies who are watching this and are engaged in this kind of topic. We are doing this for the next generation, for younger people like Reese. Because all you out there, a lot of you are going to be parents, grandparents, and you're doing this because you remember what this country used to be like. The country that we all grew up in. And it was very different to the country. Sorry, my hay fever. And very different to the country that our young people are growing up in today. And it breaks my heart for them, to be honest with you, because this is why we're doing this. We are doing this for the next generation, whether they agree with us or not. That is immaterial. It doesn't matter. The motivation behind us and other YouTubers who have put their necks on the line, people like Paul Thorpe, who, everyone wants to have a pop at us. I get it on a daily basis. That's fine. It's not going to stop us, right? It's not, okay? Having a pop at us, what's happened to Paul Thorpe and to Danny and to Richard, you got to ask yourself, would you actually be prepared to go through what we go through, to get called names? So when this young man approached me today and shook my hand, it humbled me. It really did. So I just want all you oldies out there, like Jeff and myself, please, in the comment section below here, leave some love for our younger generation. And it's inspiring to see them coming up, because I have seen some comments from younger people, but when you actually meet a younger person, you can see that what we do means something. It totally just floors you, because you do sometimes wonder, oh my goodness, are we just talking into an echo chamber of oldies like us? But it appears not. Now, I had seen statistics showing that Generation Z, in particular the younger part of Generation Z, they actually are moving more towards the centre-right, we'll call it. I hate that expression, that term, but that is inspiring. So, in the comment section, leave your love for Reese and all the other people out there of the younger generation. Tell them what you think and how you feel, okay? Because this is serious. We're not doing this. This isn't some kind of intellectual exercise. We don't sit here just trying to produce videos and people turning up in London because, to voice their concerns for their country. They're not doing that out of some kind of, let's just have a get-together. No, they're doing it out of love. All of you who are watching this, probably most of you, are doing it out of love. Love for the next generation, for family members. You can see the trajectory of this country. And, of course, love for this country itself. I mean, Richard Inman, in a video yesterday, he said, it's faith, family, flag. And that is correct. If you get that the other way around, it's not going to work. We have to, I don't know what any of you, look, I've got my own personal belief. I'm a Christian, and I believe very much that if you put that at the core and the foundation of everything, that everything from there, the family, the country, then comes together. All right? Now, none of us are perfect. My goodness. Don't look at me as an example of a Christian. My goodness, you're going down the wrong path if you're trying to treat me as some kind of role model. But, yeah, very, very touched today, Reese. We were going to do a live stream on Farage, but sometimes you have to ground yourself and ask yourself why we're doing this. As I said, there's plenty of people I've bumped into, and it's meant a lot, the appreciation. Thank you. It humbles you. It doesn't boost your ego. It just makes you stop and reflect to think that this does matter. What Jeff and myself have built up here, and what other YouTubers have built up, is no small feat, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to blow smoke up our own backsides here. But the thing is, all we are is a mirror. We're reflecting the values of many of you out there. So, yeah. And I have to reiterate, finally, what Jeff has said about Nigel Farage. A lot of weight rests upon his shoulders now. If he messes up on this, yeah, he will become if you think Keir Starmer is a hated political figure, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. If Farage fails, and if he proves to be a part of the Uni Party, then, oh, okay. Well, you just kicked any hope that the British people had left in the democratic process completely out the window. So, Nigel, you've got to get this right. The polls show, the results from the council elections prove, and the mayoral elections, they do prove that the people of this country who are disillusioned with what's going on are putting their faith in you. Many of them begrudgingly, because they view you as the least worst option, which I actually agree with. I think you're the least worst option at this point. But if you betray this trust that the British people are placing in you, I dread to think what's going to happen. I really do. I've been watching David Betts and many other social scientists and commentators who are saying things could turn very ugly in this country, and I believe they're right. So, Nigel, I hope you realise that I really think it is when you enter number 10. I think if you get this wrong, then it's better you never stood at all. So there we go. Is reform the only option left? No. No, it is not. I mean, there are many options that we haven't yet seen. Do I think Rupert Lowe combined with Ben Habib and with Andrew Bridgen will overtake them? No, I don't think the momentum's there, the exposure's there, and I don't think it would happen. As much as I would vote for them first, it's not going to happen, is it? Unless a certain political prisoner in this country comes out and becomes the figurehead of that political party. I think then there's a totally different scenario. There are other political parties which many of you, like myself, prefer to reform. I prefer UKIP. That's me. I can change my mind on that. We can all change our mind. We've got 4 years. I think it's 4 years until the next election. So a lot can change in 4 years. But, however, looking at what has just been achieved by reform, it's absolutely astonishing. And you can't, no matter what your point of view is and your personal thoughts on Farage, and believe me, I'm one of them, who has very different thoughts to a lot of people out there on when it comes to Farage. It doesn't matter. These are our personal thoughts. The point here is very, very simple. And that is that it's the only game in town in terms of an alternative to the Uni Party. But are they part of the establishment and grifters? I don't know. Well, I would like to speak more on that. But there we go. Right. So thank you all for watching this video today. We're going to, as I said, if you could please just put in the comment section your love towards the next generation and to people like Reese and the next generation who are coming up and watching these videos. I've got a message for you directly. You matter. You matter. Now then, please like this video, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the all option on the little bell, the all option. And a big thanks to all the people who support us directly via Patreon, PayPal, and the Super Chats. There's links in the descriptions box below on how to help support us because, yeah, this is a full-time job. In fact, we're running 3, sometimes 4 separate channels. And trying to put content regularly up on them is very, very difficult. However, I've been promising to do it. I will be spending more time on my own personal channel, which is called Missed the News. There is a link in the descriptions box below for that. Yes, that's more of a Christian-based news channel. If you're into that, come over and watch it. I'll be putting stuff heading straight into there next week. Now, many of you may not want to hear that, so do you know what? Don't subscribe or unsubscribe. It doesn't matter to me. What's important, though, is that you understand that YouTubers, as I said, I watched Paul Thorpe today, and I was like, oh my gosh, Paul, I'm so sorry you're going through this because I know how it feels. It can get to you. You know, when you've got people calling you this, calling you that, accusing you, questioning your character, it's like, okay, where's your YouTube channel? Are you prepared to put your face in front of the public? Are you? Are you prepared to do that? Have you got the guts to do that? Knowing that you are going to get shot down. You know, I put some of that stuff up on AI. knowing fully well it was going to get a backlash. But if I just sit here and tell you everything you want to hear continuously, then what value is in that? What value is in the Jeff Taylor or any of the other channels we have? If all we're going to do is become just repeaters, you say, yes, echo chamber, well, I might as well just hold a mirror up to you and say, there you go, that's what you want to hear. There you go, there it is. Not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to try and keep it as real as possible. If you want a real channel, I've got to say this is a real channel. And there's many others out there. Again, I've mentioned some of them. And, these are decent people. Look, have a pop at us. But, and this is the other message to the younger generation, people, if you're going to stand up and have your say with conviction, you're going to get people having a pop at you, okay? That's fine. Take it. Wear it as a badge of honour. All right? Just stay true to yourselves. And that's very important. Now then, right, I said I was going to go earlier. I'm off, okay? God bless you all. And Reese, and to all the others out there in your generation, thank you. God bless you. This is all for you. Bye for now.